At the start of the drama, we meet Jia Shin, a kind-hearted administrative assistant who always helps her coworkers and never says no to anyone. One day, her boyfriend Gucci waits for her outside. While waiting, he keeps checking out other girls passing by. When Jia Shin arrives and apologizes for being late, Gucci acts understanding and invites her to spend time with him while he cooks dinner. However, Jia Shin refuses to stay overnight with him because of her mother's advice. Gucci becomes disappointed, but Jia Shin soon notices an advertisement for a romantic Costa cruise in Venice. Excited by the idea, she suggests they take the trip together and offers to pay for everything, which immediately cheers Gucci up. Meanwhile, a talented ballet dancer named Anna performs in a competition and impresses all the judges. They offer her a chance to train in Paris and join their ballet company as the Black Swan. However, Anna rejects the offer because her dream is to perform as the White Swan Odette. The judges remind her that no dancer from her background has ever received that role at the Paris Opera. At that moment, Shi Yi arrives. Anna happily hugs him, surprising everyone. Shi Yi encourages her to follow her dream, and Anna declares that she would rather stay by his side than accept a lesser role. Smiling, Shi Yi jokingly tells the judges that he is taking their future Odette away and leaves with Anna. Later, Jia Shin and Gucci board the beautiful Costa cruise ship. Jia Shin is thrilled, but Gucci quickly becomes distracted after noticing an attractive woman. He leaves Jia Shin carrying all the luggage while he follows the stranger. At the same time, Shi Yi and Anna also arrive on the ship. Shi Yi leaves Anna with the bags while he goes to check in. As Jia Shin walks through the ship, she accidentally bumps into a waiter, causing food to spill. Because her outfit resembles the staff uniform, the waiter mistakes her for an employee and harshly orders her to clean the mess. Embarrassed, Jia Shin starts cleaning, but Anna witnesses the scene and immediately defends her. After learning that Jia Shin is actually a guest, the waiter repeatedly apologizes. During the confusion, two playful children accidentally switch Shi's bag with Jia Shin's luggage. Grateful for Anna's kindness, Jia Shin thanks her. Anna notices a stain on Jia Shin's dress and kindly covers it with a scarf from her bag. Touched by the gesture, Jia Shin leaves with the wrong suitcase. Shortly afterward, Anna receives an exciting phone call from one of the judges. He tells her that she has finally been chosen to play the White Swan and must come to Paris immediately for training because this is her final opportunity. Meanwhile, Anna receives a call informing her that the opportunity to become the White Swan in Paris is finally hers. Although excited, she feels conflicted because it means leaving Shi Yi again. At the same time, Shi Yi is secretly preparing to propose to Anna. He thanks the ship's captain for helping arrange the special event and reveals that the woman who wears the ring will become his future wife. Determined to confess his feelings in front of everyone, he continues practicing his proposal after the captain leaves. As Shi rehearses, Jia Shin happens to walk by and notices him talking to himself. Just then, two playful children accidentally bump into him, causing the engagement ring to slip from his hand. The ring rolls across the deck, and both Shi Yi and Jia Shin chase after it. Eventually, it falls onto a safety net hanging below. Ignoring the danger, Jia Shin leans over to retrieve it while Shi Yi warns her to be careful. She insists on helping and asks him to hold her hand. As she reaches farther, Shi Yi loses his grip and Jia Shin falls straight into the pool. Without hesitation, Shi Yi jumps in after her and pulls her to safety. When Jia Shin loses consciousness for a moment, he prepares to give her CPR. However, she suddenly wakes up, coughing water onto his face. Embarrassed and annoyed, Shi Yi scolds her for taking such a risk. Laughing, Jia Shin hands him the recovered ring and wishes him success with his proposal. Grateful, Shi thanks her, and the two return to their rooms. To their surprise, they discover that their rooms are directly opposite each other. After entering, Shi realizes Anna is missing. Later, both open their suitcases and are shocked to find that their luggage has been switched. Jia Shin finds men's belongings, while Shi discovers women's clothes inside his bag. They quickly meet outside, confirm the mix-up, and exchange the suitcases. Soon after, Shi notices 16 missed calls from Anna and immediately contacts her. Anna apologizes and reveals that she has returned to Paris because she was finally chosen to perform as the White Swan. Though heartbroken, Shi listens as she explains that this role is her lifelong dream and an opportunity she cannot abandon. She asks him to forgive her one more time and allow her to pursue the future she has always wanted. Shi eventually forgives Anna and asks her not to leave him unexpectedly again. Anna promises she won't and ends the call by telling him she loves him. Meanwhile, Jiaxin receives a call from Gucci, who asks for her room number and tells her he'll meet her later. Unbeknownst to her, Gucci is secretly spending time with another woman. As Jiaxin gets ready, her hair becomes trapped in the zipper of her dress. Unable to free it herself, she asks Shi Yi for help. Though surprised that she didn't seek assistance from a woman, Shi Yi agrees after hearing that the hotel staff are busy. Carefully, he cuts the trapped strands and helps her fix the problem. Grateful, Jiaxin wishes him luck with his proposal and jokes that if she were his girlfriend, she would definitely say yes. After thanking him, she leaves but accidentally takes his room card while he ends up with hers. Later, Shi Yi realizes he cannot enter his room because of the card mix-up. While trying to sort it out, he overhears Gucci talking badly about Jiaxin while flirting with another woman. Sensing something suspicious, Shi Yi secretly records the conversation. He then finds Jiaxin and encourages her to eat with him, insisting that her boyfriend is not coming. When she questions him, he shows her the wrong room card and convinces her to return to her room with him. There, Jiaxin discovers the heartbreaking truth. Gucci is lying on the bed with another woman, who is even wearing Jiaxin's dress. Shocked, she demands an explanation. Gucci quickly makes excuses and then tries to shift the blame onto her, accusing her of being unreasonable. Before he can continue, Shi Yi plays the recording of Gucci mocking Jiaxin and flirting with the other woman. Exposed, the woman quickly leaves the room. Devastated, Jiaxin runs away in tears and Shi Yi follows her. Through her sobs, Jiaxin blames herself for everything. She admits that she spent beyond her limits and worked tirelessly just to earn Gucci's love, hoping she was good enough for him. Feeling lost and heartbroken in such a huge world, she finally realizes that all her efforts were never appreciated by the man she trusted most. Heartbroken, Jiaxin compares herself to a disposable sticky note that no one notices. Trying to cheer her up, Shi Yi points out that her oversized glasses and plain hairstyle hide her natural beauty. Jiaxin agrees but reminds him that his girlfriend must be waiting. Shi Yi sadly reveals that Anna left him as well because her ballet career came first. Realizing they have both been abandoned by the people they loved, Jiaxin sympathizes with him. Instead of staying miserable, Shi Yi decides to help Jiaxin regain her confidence. He takes her to a makeup artist and insists on giving her a makeover. Despite her protests, he removes her large glasses and leaves the rest to the stylist. After some time, Jiaxin emerges looking completely transformed. Everyone around them is stunned by her beauty, including Shi Yi. Encouraging her to be proud of herself, he tells her that she deserves to be the center of attention. The two spend the rest of the day together, enjoying the cruise and watching the sunset. For the first time since her heartbreak, Jiaxin feels genuinely happy. Meanwhile, Gucci is having fun with the woman he cheated with. Their peaceful moment is interrupted when Shi Yi and Jiaxin arrive together. Gucci is shocked by Jiaxin's stunning new appearance, and she finally stands up to him with confidence. To teach Gucci a lesson, Shi Yi challenges him to a game of snooker. Before the match begins, he playfully places the ring on Jiaxin's finger. Gucci confidently accepts the challenge and even agrees to a wager. The game starts with Gucci taking an early lead, but Shi Yi steadily catches up despite being a beginner. When the final shot arrives, Shi Yi guides Jiaxin's hands and the two make the winning shot together. The crowd cheers as the last ball drops into the pocket. Jiaxin is overjoyed and hugs Shi Yi, while Gucci is forced to admit defeat. Embarrassed by the outcome, the other woman quietly leaves, leaving Gucci alone to face the consequences of his action. After winning the snooker match, Shi Yi jokingly tells Gucci to keep his promise and eat the ball. Embarrassed, Gucci apologizes and quickly runs away. Seeing this, Jiaxin finally feels satisfied and Shi Yi asks if she enjoyed her revenge. As they leave, Jiaxin returns the ring to him. Nearby, a beautiful wedding setup is glowing with lights and decorations. Jiaxin admires the romantic scene, unaware that it was originally arranged for Shi Yi and Anna. Suddenly, Shi Yi realizes he forgot to cancel the ceremony. Before he can explain, the captain announces the couple's wedding to all the guests. Both Shi Yi and Jiaxin try to stop the misunderstanding, but the captain mistakes their gestures for excitement. Soon they are brought onto the stage and asked if they accept each other as husband and wife. Caught in the moment, they both answer yes. The ceremony continues as Shi Yi places the ring on Jiaxin's finger, and together they sign the marriage certificate. While signing, Jiaxin finally learns Shiyi's name and he notices hers as well. When the crowd asks them to kiss, Shiyi gently kisses her forehead instead. The newlyweds are then encouraged to dance, and despite Jiaxin's nervousness, Shiyi guides her through it with confidence. The next morning, both wake up in the same bed and immediately panic. Confused and embarrassed, they quickly separate. As Jiaxin recalls the previous night, she remembers that after the wedding celebration and several drinks, they had unknowingly returned to the room together. Later, Jiaxin meets Shiyi and returns the rings, insisting that she is fine and that the marriage was simply a mistake. However, Shiyi is frustrated by how easily she dismisses such a serious situation. Jiaxin explains that he had planned a future with Anna and should not feel responsible for her because of one unexpected event. She believes he deserves happiness and shouldn't be tied to her because of an accident. Even though Jiaxin tries to act strong, her words reveal how little she values herself. She quietly admits that she only hopes to one day find someone who can truly love her and accept her past. Wanting the best for Shiyi, she encourages him to move forward and find the happiness he originally planned for himself. Shiyi is deeply affected by Jiaxin's words. Holding back tears, Jiaxin tells him that she is just an ordinary girl, but he helped her see her own worth. She insists that what happened between them should be treated like a dream, and that neither of them should blame themselves. Believing it is best to move on, she says goodbye and leaves, leaving Shiyi lost in thought. Meanwhile, a young man named Dylan challenges a gambler named Tom to another game. Having lost many times before, Dylan asks for Tom's lucky chip instead of money if he wins. When Tom questions him, Dylan reveals that he is searching for his missing sister and hopes the chip will bring him luck. Later, while carrying the chip, Dylan accidentally bumps into someone, causing it to roll to Anna's feet. She kindly returns it to him, and the two soon find themselves interested in the same decorative item at a nearby shop. Amused by the coincidence, the shopkeeper jokes that they seem destined to meet. Dylan smiles and lets Anna have the item. After returning home from the cruise, Jiaxin goes back to work. During the day, she receives a message that leaves her completely shocked. The notification reveals that her marriage to Shiyi has been officially registered. Soon after, Shiyi contacts her, and the two rush to the consulate to clear up the misunderstanding. Unfortunately, the official informs them that the marriage certificate is genuine and legally valid. Both Jiaxin and Shiyi explain that the wedding happened by mistake and ask if it can be cancelled. However, they are told that the marriage cannot simply be erased because it was legally registered. Hoping for another solution, they visit a marriage registration office to inquire about a divorce. After checking the records, the staff member delivers more surprising news. Since the marriage was registered in the Bahamas, any divorce process must also be completed there. Hearing that they would need to make a long 40-hour journey just to end the marriage leaves both of them speechless. Later, while discussing their options at a restaurant, Shiyi asks his assistant to arrange 2 tickets to the Bahamas. Feeling guilty about all the trouble, Jiaxin sincerely apologizes, knowing that the unexpected marriage has complicated both of their lives. Feeling guilty about the accidental marriage, Jiaxin says she never should have signed the certificate. Shiyi immediately tells her not to blame herself. Their conversation catches the attention of 2 nearby women, who mistakenly assume Shiyi is treating her badly and begin criticizing him. Embarrassed, Shiyi softens his tone and asks for Jiaxin's passport so he can arrange their trip to the Bahamas. Afterward, he drops her off at work, where her friend Si Chi notices her arriving in an expensive car. Later, Shiyi visits Jiaxin's company with his manager. While waiting, he mistakenly follows another employee, thinking she is Jiaxin. Realizing his mistake, he apologizes and returns. At the same time, Jiaxin is feeling unwell and tells Si Chi that she may have drunk spoiled milk. Despite not feeling her best, she continues working and tries to catch up on her tasks. Soon, a coworker scolds Jiaxin for taking a late lunch break, and her supervisor Fang joins in, criticizing her for recently taking time off and warning that future leave requests will not be approved. The situation becomes even worse when Gucci suddenly appears and starts insulting Jiaxin in front of everyone. When Jiaxin finally defends herself, Gucci grabs her arm in anger. Before things can escalate, Shiyi steps in and forcefully pulls Gucci away. He warns him to stay away from Jiaxin and demands that he apologize immediately. Shocked by Shiyi's authority, Gucci has no choice but to say sorry before leaving in embarrassment. The entire office watches the scene in surprise. Even after Gucci leaves, Fang blames Jia Xin for causing trouble. This time, however, Shiyi refuses to stay silent. He points out that Jia Xin had valid reasons for needing time off and questions why she is always treated unfairly. He criticizes the workplace for constantly targeting her while ignoring the behavior of others, and even suggests that the company may have a bullying culture. Hearing his sharp words and realizing she may have gone too far, Fang quickly apologizes. After defending Jia Xin at her workplace, Shiyi orders Fang to approve her leave request immediately. Fang quickly agrees, and Shiyi later hands Jia Xin's tickets for their trip to the Bahamas. Grateful for his help, she sincerely thanks him. Meanwhile, Dylan accompanies Shiyi's grandmother to an art exhibition. While looking at a painting, Dylan explains how its simple colors and peaceful scenery make it feel special and inspiring. Amused by his passionate description, Grandma teases him but listens carefully. When she notices that the painting has already been purchased, she smiles knowingly and walks away, leaving Dylan curious. Later, Jia Xin visits the same exhibition and is immediately drawn to that very painting. Disappointed to learn it has already been sold, she walks away feeling unwell. In her hurry, she accidentally drops her diary. Dylan finds it and, at Grandma's suggestion, decides to return both the diary and the painting to her. At the same time, Jia Xin stops by a pharmacy to buy a pregnancy test because of her recent symptoms. Before she can finish, Dylan contacts her and arranges to meet. When they meet, he returns her diary and surprises her with the painting she admired. Jia Xin is deeply touched and happily thanks him. As they talk, Jia Xin shares why the painting means so much to her. She explains that it reminds her to stay strong and independent. She even recalls how, as a child, she dreamed of owning a small grocery store, while her classmates talked about becoming doctors or scientists. Her unusual dream made everyone laugh, but it was something she genuinely wanted. Dylan finds her honesty charming and laughs along with her. When Jia Xin asks how much she owes him for the painting, Dylan refuses payment and jokingly asks for a treat instead. Though she initially tries to leave because she has other things to do, Dylan convinces her that a good dessert can brighten anyone's day. Amused by his persistence, Jia Xin agrees, and the two head to a cafe together, where they introduce themselves and begin getting to know each other better. Excusing herself from the table, Jia Xin heads to the restroom and finally uses the pregnancy tests she had purchased. Meanwhile, Shiyi discusses the marriage situation with his assistant, Anson. After hearing everything, Anson is stunned and asks if Shiyi has lost his mind. Shiyi explains that he has already sought legal advice and was told that ending the marriage in the Bahamas should be simple since there are no children involved. Anson suddenly becomes nervous and confesses a secret. He reveals that because the chairwoman desperately wanted a grandchild, he secretly damaged the protection that Shiyi had planned to use during the cruise. Although he insists his intentions were good, his confession leaves Shiyi completely shocked. At the same time, Jia Xin checks the results of the pregnancy tests and is stunned to discover that all three are positive. Overwhelmed by the news, she rushes out of the restroom, feeling dizzy and anxious. Nearby, a live-streaming influencer notices her condition and wrongly assumes she has food poisoning from the restaurant. As an argument breaks out between the influencer and the restaurant manager, Jia Xin gets caught in the middle. During the commotion, the pregnancy tests accidentally fall out of Jia Xin's bag. One is picked up by Dylan, while another is noticed by the influencer, who loudly announces that Jia Xin is pregnant. Embarrassed and distressed, Jia Xin quickly leaves the scene with Dylan. Outside, Jia Xin finally opens up about her situation. She admits that the baby's father has no idea about the pregnancy, and that they were already planning to get divorced. She explains that everything happened because of the unexpected events on the cruise ship. Listening carefully, Dylan guesses that the father is a wealthy businessman, surprising Jia Xin with how accurately he figured it out. Jia Xin sadly insists that she is not good enough to be with someone like Shiyi. Dylan immediately disagrees and encourages her to stop putting herself down. Wanting to cheer her up, he gives her his treasured lucky chip and tells her it has always brought him hope. He promises that by the time they meet again, her situation may have changed for the better. Touched by his kindness, Jia Xin accepts the gift and quietly leaves. In the next scene, Shiyi's grandmother happily looks through photos on her phone and dreams about the day she will finally have a great-grandchild. While browsing, she comes across a funny picture of Jia Xin taken the previous night. Recognizing her as the girl from the art exhibition, Grandma becomes curious and immediately sends the photo to Dylan. After seeing the picture, Dylan sends a voice message back, revealing that Jia Xin is the same woman his cousin Shi accidentally married in the Bahamas and is now planning to divorce. Shocked by this news, Grandma quickly contacts one of her staff members. She soon learns that Shi has already booked a flight to the Bahamas for that very night. Meanwhile, Shi and Jia Xin arrive at the airport, ready to travel and settle their divorce. However, just before boarding, Shi receives an urgent call from his assistant Anson. He explains that a major problem has occurred on Hwaniao Island. Important company funds have not been transferred, employees have not been paid, and tensions are rising. Since the situation is becoming serious, the chairwoman wants Shi to handle it personally. Realizing the matter cannot be ignored, Shi decides to postpone the Bahamas trip. He apologizes to Jia Xin and explains that the divorce will have to wait until the crisis is resolved. Although surprised, Jia Xin secretly feels a little relieved that their plans have been delayed. Soon after, Jia Xin receives a call from her mother. Upset that Jia Xin had been avoiding her calls, her mother orders her to return home immediately by boat. After hanging up, Jia Xin becomes nervous and worries that her mother may have already discovered her pregnancy. As the two go their separate ways, Shi heads to Hwaniao Island with Anson to deal with the company's growing problems, while Jia Xin prepares to face whatever awaits her at home. When Shi and Anson arrive on Hwaniao Island, the locals are waiting with a welcome banner for Shi. Anson volunteers to handle the crowd, but before he can explain anything, the villagers mistakenly assume he is Shi. They place a flower garland around his neck and proudly escort him away, despite his attempts to correct them. Meanwhile, Jia Xin returns home and is immediately confronted by her mother. Hidden nearby, Shi notices her and quietly follows. At home, Jia Xin's mother angrily scolds her, believing she has gotten herself into trouble after moving to the city. Accepting the blame, Jia Xin apologizes and says she is willing to accept any punishment. However, her cousin believes the issue is only related to debt and encourages her to explain the truth. When Jia Xin learns that her mother is upset about money she borrowed, she feels relieved and promises to be more responsible with her spending in the future. That relief is short-lived. A young man named Tian's suddenly arrives with shocking news. He reveals that a photo connected to Jia Xin's pregnancy has spread online, and many people already know about it. His words leave everyone stunned, including Shi, who overhears the conversation from outside. Realizing the truth, Jia Xin's mother asks if she is really pregnant. With tears in her eyes, Jia Xin apologizes and admits it. Overcome with anger and disappointment, her mother lashes out, unable to understand how her daughter ended up in such a situation. Jia Xin quietly accepts the criticism, blaming herself for everything. As emotions run high, Jia Xin's cousin tries to calm everyone down and asks who the baby's father is. However, Jia Xin refuses to reveal his identity. She insists that he is not responsible and does not want his life to be ruined because of her situation. Determined to carry the burden alone, she tells her family that she can handle everything herself. Hearing this, her mother becomes even more frustrated, unable to understand why Jia Xin continues to protect someone while sacrificing her own happiness. Jia Xin's mother becomes furious when she sees her daughter still protecting the baby's father, instead of standing up for herself. Demanding to know who the man is, she raises her broom again. Before she can strike, Shi steps forward and admits that he is the father of the child. Shocked, Jia Xin tries to send him away, but Shi refuses, saying he cannot leave her alone during such a difficult time. Jia Xin's mother immediately confronts him and asks how he plans to take responsibility for both Jia Xin and the baby. After a moment of silence, Shi honestly admits that he does not yet have an answer. Frustrated by his response, Jia Xin's mother scolds him even more harshly. Meanwhile, Dylan discusses the situation with Shi's grandmother. He argues that raising a child should not be the mother's burden alone and that Shi should share the responsibility. Grandma agrees that Shi deserves punishment for his mistakes and reveals that she deliberately prevented the divorce papers from being processed. It becomes clear that she had arranged for Shi to go to the island, hoping to stop the divorce and bring the two closer together. Back at Jia Xin's house, her mother ties Shi to a chair and orders Jia Xin's cousin to investigate him. They take his phone and try to unlock it, but Shi stubbornly keeps his eyes closed to prevent the facial recognition system from working. After some playful efforts, they finally unlock the phone and gain access. Jiaxin's mother then calls Shi's grandmother. Despite Shi's attempts to stop her, she reaches Grandma and demands an explanation for what happened to her daughter. To her surprise, Grandma responds calmly and respectfully. She accepts responsibility for the situation and promises to visit the island the next morning so both families can discuss everything face to face. After ending the call, Grandma happily remarks that Jiaxin may become her future granddaughter-in-law. At the same time, she suddenly realizes that if Shi is stuck on the island, no one is managing the factory. Elsewhere, the villagers continue questioning Anson, who has been mistaken for Shi. Just then, everyone's phones receive a payment notification, proving that their wages have finally arrived. Relieved, the crowd immediately calms down. After the workers finally receive their delayed wages, Anson gets a call from the chairwoman. She reveals that she personally sent the money and informs him that she will be visiting the island the next day. Surprised, Anson wonders what new plans she has in mind. That night, Jishin's mother locks Shi inside the family store. Later, Jishin quietly comes to check on him. She brings him a blanket, unties him, and even gives him some zongzi to eat. While she cleans the store, Shi looks around and discovers one of her old diaries. Curious, he starts reading it. The diary reveals Jiaxin's childhood thoughts and dreams. She had written about always doing extra chores, receiving praise for her drawings, and hoping that one day someone would love her as deeply as her father loved her mother. Reading this, Shi teasingly remarks that she has been overly innocent since she was young. Embarrassed, Jiaxin quickly tries to take the diary back, insisting that it is private. Instead of returning it immediately, Shi encourages her to stop limiting herself. He tells her to forget the word impossible, dream bigger, and have the courage to chase what she truly wants. Jiaxin claims she has no special dreams, but Shi points out that she still longs for a sincere love story and a heartfelt proposal by the sea. His words leave her thoughtful. Feeling guilty, Jiaxin apologizes once again for the situation between them and for disrupting the life he had planned with Anna. Shi gently points out that she apologizes even when things are not her fault, and that she is far too hard on herself. Their conversation is interrupted when Shi suddenly spots a cockroach. To Jiaxin's amusement, he becomes terrified and begs her to get rid of it. Laughing, she calmly catches the insect and throws it outside. Still worried the cockroach might return, Shi remains uneasy. Jiaxin reassures him that she will stay nearby until he falls asleep. She covers him with a blanket, sits quietly on a chair, and begins writing a note as the peaceful night passes. The following morning, a large number of deliveries arrive outside Jiaxin's house, hinting that even more surprises are about to unfold. As Jiaxin's mother stepped outside, a delivery man handed her several packages. Confused, she insisted she hadn't ordered anything. Before he could explain, Grandma arrived and revealed that the items were hers. She then showed Mrs. Chen a marriage certificate and proudly announced that Jiaxin was her daughter-in-law. She declared that Jiaxin's future child would inherit the Chengjiai group and that she planned to hold another wedding ceremony so everyone would recognize their marriage. Meanwhile, Shi woke up and found a note from Jiaxin. In it, she explained that without a complete family, she feared their child would grow up feeling unwanted and become a burden in both his and Anna's lives. Believing abortion was the only option, she said she was heading to the hospital. Shocked, Shi immediately rushed out, and the rest of the family followed after learning where Jiaxin had gone. At the hospital, Jiaxin was having an ultrasound when Shi arrived. As they watched the screen, the doctor pointed out the tiny baby and let them hear its healthy heartbeat. Moved by the moment, Jiaxin asked whether the baby would feel pain during an abortion. The doctor warned her about the risks, and Jiaxin sadly explained that the baby's father didn't want the child and that they were divorcing. At that moment, Shi stepped forward and admitted he was the father. Looking at Jiaxin, he sincerely said that he wanted their baby. His words instantly filled her with happiness and relief. Outside, the family gathered around the ultrasound report. Jiaxin's mother and grandma excitedly admired the tiny baby, even though it was still no bigger than a grain. Grandma happily gave the baby a nickname and announced that Jiaxin would one day lead the Cheng group. Later, everyone traveled to the island for Jiaxin and Shi's wedding celebration. where Grandma warmly welcomed the guests and encouraged Shi Yi to smile for the occasion. At the wedding celebration, Grandma noticed Shi Yi looked serious and pulled him aside. She reminded him that he was now married and had accepted the baby as his own, telling him how handsome he looked. Soon, Yuxin called Jia Xin and Shi Yi onto the stage and asked Jia Xin to share how they met. Feeling shy and unsure, Jia Xin simply introduced herself, making everyone laugh. When the guests continued asking questions, Shi Yi stepped in and explained that they met like any ordinary couple, except their relationship moved much faster than expected. As they tried to leave the stage, the guests stopped them and demanded a kiss. Shi Yi first kissed Jia Xin on the forehead, but everyone insisted on a real kiss. After quietly telling Jia Xin not to take it too seriously, he kissed her on the lips, earning loud cheers from the crowd. The celebration continued with everyone happily enjoying the feast together. Later, as they prepared to return, Grandma thanked Jia Xin's family for everything and promised to take good care of her. She then announced that Jia Xin would move to Shanghai and live with Shi Yi as his wife. Although Shi Yi felt it might be inconvenient, Grandma firmly insisted it was the right thing to do. She warmly spoke with Jia Xin's mother, saying they were family now. When the boat arrived, Jia Xin's mother gave her a heartfelt farewell. She reminded her daughter to call if anyone treated her badly and promised to stand up for her. Fighting back tears, Jia Xin hugged her mother tightly before saying goodbye and leaving with Shi Yi and Grandma. Meanwhile, Shi Yi received a call from Mr. Shen, who informed him that the agreement had been prepared exactly as requested and would be delivered through Jia Shen. She agreed, but warned him to keep the matter completely secret. Moments later, Jia Xin arrived, unaware of the conversation that had just taken place. Mr. Shen handed Jia Xin a document and asked her to deliver it to Shi Yi. Later, while shopping with Shi Yi, Jia Xin unexpectedly met Dylan. She greeted him warmly, and he noticed the file she was carrying. When she said it was important, Dylan wished her well and expressed relief that the baby's father had taken responsibility. Surprised by his comment, Jia Xin wondered how he knew. But Dylan simply pointed at her wedding ring and joked that his lucky charm must have worked. After thanking him and returning the charm, Jia Xin introduced Dylan to Shi Yi when he arrived. Although Shi Yi politely shook Dylan's hand, he seemed slightly uncomfortable. Before leaving, Dylan reminded Jia Xin that she could contact him anytime if she needed help. Soon after, Shi Yi brought Jia Xin to his family home. There, she met his lively aunt Shu Ling, who warmly welcomed her and praised her dancing career. Shi Yi jokingly teased his aunt about her troublesome past, leaving her embarrassed. Grandma then asked Shi Yi to take Jia Xin's luggage upstairs while she gave her a tour of the house. That night, Jia Xin entered the bedroom and noticed there was only one bed. As she wondered where she would sleep, she saw a photo of Anna. Looking at the picture, Jia Xin quietly promised that once the baby was born, she would leave and never interfere in Anna's place in Shi Yi's life. Unaware that Shi Yi had entered the room, she admitted that he truly cared about Anna. Shi Yi then offered to sleep on the sofa and handed Jia Xin a glass of warm milk from Grandma. However, he soon brought up a serious matter and revealed the document Mr. Shen had prepared. It was a divorce agreement. He honestly explained that their marriage was temporary and that she could never be part of his future. Though his words hurt, Jia Xin listened quietly. Shi Yi assured her that he wasn't trying to deceive her. The agreement included financial support, a house, and everything she might need after their separation. Jia Xin refused the compensation, but Shi Yi insisted that she needed protection and security for the future. He gave her 3 days to think about the terms and even offered to add any reasonable requests she had. Although Jia Xin nodded, she felt deeply saddened by the reality of their arrangement. The next morning, Shi Yi woke up in surprise when he found Jia Xin standing right in front of him, cheerfully wishing him good morning. The next morning, Jia Xin handed Shi Yi the signed agreement along with his ring. Before leaving, she assured him that Grandma would never learn about their arrangement. Although Shi Yi tried to stop her, Jia Xin quietly walked away. At work, Jia Xin immediately noticed that everyone was treating her differently. Tasks that were once given to her were now being handled by others. Even when she offered to help her co-workers, they politely refused. Confused by the sudden change, she returned to her desk only to find someone else sitting there. Soon, Mr. Shen called Jia Xin into his office and surprised her by promoting her to his special assistant. Jia Xin suspected the opportunity was connected to Shi Yi, but Mr. Shen encouraged her not to overthink it. He explained that her new responsibilities would include attending art exhibitions, business events, and social gatherings on behalf of the company. He also assured her that all expenses, including a new wardrobe and hairstyle, would be covered. Excited by the chance to grow and prove herself, Jia happily accepted the position. Later that evening, Jia attended her first concert assignment. To her surprise, she ran into Dylan there. She admitted that she knew very little about music and worried she might not understand the event. Dylan reassured her, saying that learning new things would help her in the future, which made her feel more confident. Not long after, Shi arrived and noticed Jia talking with Dylan. Seeing them together immediately stirred feelings of jealousy. He deliberately sat beside Jia and made several sarcastic comments aimed at Dylan. Unwilling to argue, Dylan simply advised Jia not to pay attention to people who enjoyed showing off their power. As the concert began and soft piano music filled the hall, Jia gradually became sleepy. Without realizing it, she leaned her head onto Shi's shoulder and fell asleep. Shi couldn't hide his happiness as he quietly let her rest beside him, enjoying the peaceful moment. Seeing Jia spending time with Dylan, Shi became jealous once again. After the concert ended, Dylan and Jia stood outside chatting, when Shi approached and asked why she hadn't gone home yet. He offered to drive her back himself, but before Jia could respond, Dylan stepped in and reminded her that she and Shi were supposed to act like strangers in public. His comment immediately annoyed Shi, and tension rose between the two men. At that moment, Assistant Anson pulled Shi aside and reminded him that he still had an important business dinner to attend. While they were talking, Shi received a text from Jia. In the message, she reminded him that he was the one who insisted they pretend not to know each other outside the house, and assured him that Dylan would take her home safely. Although Shi claimed he wasn't worried about her, he left feeling irritated. Later that evening, Jia was preparing dinner at home when Shi's cousin Jiang Ren arrived. Drawn in by the delicious smell, he happily joined her for a meal and couldn't stop praising her cooking. However, the moment Shi walked in, Jiang Ren quickly handed back his bowl and joked that he was already full before making a quick escape. Jia then served Shi some soup and explained that she hadn't expected him home for dinner, so she had simply reheated leftovers from earlier. As they sat together, Shi brought up what had happened after the concert and seemed ready to question her about Dylan. Before the conversation could continue, Jia suddenly looked uncomfortable. The strong scent of Shi's perfume was making her feel nauseous, leaving him concerned about what was wrong. Shi warned Jia not to use their secret marriage as an excuse to get close to other men. He made it clear that even if they had to hide their relationship in public, she was still his wife and should stay away from Dylan. Jia tried to listen, but her pregnancy sickness suddenly became worse, forcing her to leave. Later, Shi followed her and continued lecturing her, but Jia was too uncomfortable to argue. She covered herself with a blanket and apologized, explaining that she wasn't ignoring him on purpose. At that moment, Shi received a call from Anna. During their conversation, Anna teased him after hearing some rumors and jokingly suggested they get married sooner than planned. Instead of reacting with excitement, Shi seemed caught off guard, which made Anna feel that something had changed. He quickly brushed it off, claiming he was simply surprised. Anna eventually admitted she was only joking and ended the call after telling him she missed him. The next day, Jia attended an art gallery event where she unexpectedly met Dylan again. While there, the strong scent of air freshener made her feel nauseous. Concerned for her health, Dylan immediately took her to the hospital. The doctor explained that her morning sickness was a normal part of early pregnancy and offered advice on managing it. As they discussed the baby's health, Dylan shared what he knew about early pregnancy. The doctor mistakenly assumed he was Jia husband and praised him for being so caring. Both Jia and Dylan quickly corrected the misunderstanding, explaining that they were only friends. Jia added that the baby's father was extremely busy but still cared deeply about their child. However, the doctor remained critical, believing a husband should always prioritize his wife and unborn baby. Jia tried to defend Shi, but the doctor continued to misunderstand the situation. Realizing the conversation was going nowhere, Dylan politely thanked the doctor and led Jia out of the hospital. Afterwards, the two went to a nearby restaurant, where they continued talking and spending time together. At the restaurant, Dylan gave Jiaxin a mask to help block strong smells that were making her uncomfortable during pregnancy. When she thanked him, Dylan jokingly put on a mask himself, saying that people kept mistaking them for a couple. His playful comment made Jiaxin laugh, and the two continued chatting happily. Unfortunately, Shi Yi's aunt, Shu Ling, happened to see them together and secretly took a photo. Later, Shu Ling rushed to Grandma and showed her the picture, trying to convince her that Jiaxin was being unfaithful. However, Grandma was more concerned about another issue. She revealed that Jiaxin had become sick because of a shampoo product linked to a company contract handled by Jiang Ren. After testing the product and discovering harmful chemicals, Grandma immediately canceled the partnership, fearing it could damage both the family's reputation and Jiaxin's health. Feeling wrongly accused and unappreciated, Shu Ling became emotional and argued with Grandma. The heated argument put too much stress on Grandma, causing her to collapse. She was quickly taken to the hospital, where Jiaxin and Shu Ling waited anxiously. When Shi Yi arrived, Shu Ling showed him the photo of Jiaxin and Dylan. Jiaxin tried to explain that Dylan had only helped her get medical treatment when she felt unwell. Upset by the situation, Shi Yi walked away and Jiaxin followed him. He complained that none of this would have happened if she had gone to the hospital with him instead. Jiaxin reminded him that Dylan was also a trusted friend of the family. Frustrated and jealous, Shi Yi almost admitted how important he was to her before stopping himself when people nearby started watching. Their conversation ended with both of them hurt and angry. The next morning, Shi Yi discovered that Jiaxin had already left. As he got ready for the day, he found sticky notes she had left throughout the house. Some reminded him to take care of himself, while others pointed out where his clothes were or encouraged him to eat breakfast before drinking coffee. Although he acted annoyed and tore the notes down, Jiaxin's thoughtful presence seemed impossible for him to ignore. Meanwhile, Jiaxin moved out to stay elsewhere. That evening, the landlord unexpectedly brought Anson to Shi Yi's place as a new tenant. Shi Yi immediately objected, but the landlord assured him there would be no problem. The situation quickly turned awkward and funny as both men argued over which room belonged to whom. In the end, Anson confidently claimed a room for himself, leaving Shi Yi frustrated and completely out of options. Later, as Jiaxin and Shi Yi were leaving, Shi Yi complained about Dylan, jokingly mocking him while clearly showing his jealousy. Jiaxin brushed it off, but then Dylan arrived and told her he had found a new place for her to stay. He handed back the lucky chip and said it had never brought him much luck, but hoped it would protect her in the future. Jiaxin smiled and was about to leave with Dylan when Shi Yi suddenly stepped in. Firmly stopping her, he declared that she would be going home with him instead. Jiaxin reminded him that she had already left plenty of sticky notes explaining her decision, but Shi Yi argued that she had made the choice without discussing it with him first. Their conversation quickly turned into an argument about the misunderstandings that had built up between them. Jiaxin pointed out that she had only followed his instructions and tried to stay out of trouble, while Shi Yi questioned why Dylan had accompanied her to the hospital. She explained that she had become sick unexpectedly and happened to run into Dylan at the art gallery event she attended for work. Dylan stepped in and defended Jiaxin, insisting that none of what happened was her fault. He reminded Shi Yi that she was pregnant and deserved understanding rather than criticism. The exchange soon became a battle of words, with both men taking subtle shots at each other. Finally, Shi Yi admitted that he never blamed Jiaxin for Grandma's collapse. Hearing this, Jiaxin brightened and asked if he trusted her. Shi Yi replied that he trusted Grandma's judgment and believed that anyone Grandma cared for couldn't be a bad person. Though his answer sounded awkward, it reassured Jiaxin that he was on her side. Dylan jokingly questioned whether Shi Yi had just praised or insulted her, but Shi Yi ignored the comment. He then firmly stated that Jiaxin was his wife. After declaring that Jiaxin was his wife, Shi Yi took her hand and led her to the car. Meanwhile, Anson later complained to Shi Yi about his difficult living situation. He grumbled that the woman he was staying with sang loudly day and night, even using a hairdryer as a microphone. Although Shi Yi found it amusing, Anson begged to move back home. However, Shi Yi refused and jokingly told him he could only leave if he resigned from his job. That night, Jiaxin found Shi Yi sitting in the kitchen. Teasing her, he called her a walking sticky note because of all the notes she left around the house. Jiaxin nervously explained that sticky notes were her way of communicating and staying organized. During their conversation, she noticed that Shi Yi had stopped wearing his usual perfume. When he asked why, she admitted that the scent made her pregnancy sickness worse. She also mentioned that her doctor had advised pregnant women to stay around pleasant smells. As they talked about her doctor, Jiaxin reluctantly revealed that he had criticized Shi Yi for never attending pregnancy checkups or parenting classes. The doctor even said that if he stayed absent, he wouldn't become a good father. Although embarrassed by the comment, Shi Yi quietly took the words to heart. The following morning, Jiaxin arrived at the hospital for a pregnancy class and was surprised to see Shi Yi waiting for her. He explained that he had called the hospital to learn about the schedule and decided to come along. During the class, Jiaxin couldn't stop noticing how attentive he was. As she watched him, she wondered why her heart raced whenever he was near, even though their marriage had started as nothing more than an accident. After the session, Dr. Hao greeted the couples. This time, Shi Yi confidently introduced himself as Jiaxin's husband and apologized for missing the earlier appointments. He admitted that work had kept him busy, but he had realized that nothing was more important than being involved in his child's growth. He promised to take his responsibilities seriously from now on and asked the doctor to inform him of anything related to the baby. Seeing this change, Dr. Hao finally nodded in approval, pleased that Shi Yi was beginning to act like a devoted father. After the pregnancy class, Dr. Hao reminded Shi Yi that Jiaxin's condition was delicate and that she needed extra care. Trying to show concern, Shi Yi mentioned her recent sickness and suggested eating lighter food. Soon afterward, Jiaxin prepared to head home while Shi Yi planned to return to work. However, Jiaxin suddenly remembered she had forgotten to ask the doctor an important question and went back. When she arrived, she noticed Shi Yi speaking privately with Dr. Hao and quietly listened from outside. Shi Yi was offering the doctor an endorsement deal for his company's products and presented a contract, hoping to gain his support. Dr. Hao immediately saw through his intentions. He accused Shi Yi of attending the pregnancy class only to impress him and pointed out that he still knew very little about caring for a pregnant wife. The doctor criticized him for suggesting unsuitable food and declared that he would never endorse products for someone he believed was selfish and irresponsible. Although Shi Yi admitted that business was one reason he attended the class, he insisted the doctor didn't understand the complicated situation between him and Jiaxin. Hidden nearby, Jiaxin overheard everything and became deeply emotional. Dr. Hao then gave Shi Yi a harsh lecture, saying that Jiaxin had trusted him with both her future and their baby's future. He warned that Shi Yi was failing as both a husband and a father by not honoring that trust. As the doctor walked away, Shi Yi turned and was shocked to find Jiaxin standing there. Hurt by what she had heard, Jiaxin told him she didn't need his sympathy, but begged him not to use her or their baby for his own purposes. Fighting back tears, she left before he could explain. Later, Jiang Ren proudly told his mother that he was heading to an important ribbon-cutting ceremony and planned to humiliate Jiaxin in front of everyone. He bragged that many workers still supported him, despite Grandma canceling the partnership with Hai Fei Group. Unbeknownst to him, Shi Yi overheard the entire conversation and quietly began putting the pieces together. The story briefly flashes back to a conversation where Jiaxin's mother reminded Shi Yi that although he may not truly love her daughter, Jiaxin was the most precious person in her life. She asked him to remember that now that they were married, he had a responsibility to care for her. Back in the present, Jiang Ren was startled when Shi Yi overheard his plans. Shi Yi calmly reminded him to visit Grandma in the hospital like a dutiful son before walking away. Soon after, Shi Yi went to see Jiaxin at the hospital. Confused, she asked why he wasn't attending the ribbon-cutting ceremony. Shi Yi replied that another important person still hadn't arrived, and then surprised her by asking her to accompany him to Huanyao Island. Jiaxin refused, insisting that Grandma needed her care and that she had no reason to attend the event. However, Shi Yi argued that she needed to be stronger, not only for herself but also for their baby. When she continued resisting, he used a bold threat, claiming he would move forward with plans that could cost many factory workers their jobs if she didn't come with him. Realizing he wasn't backing down, Jiaxin reluctantly agreed. Upon arriving at Huanyao Island, Shi Yi publicly held Jiaxin's hand and brought her toward the stage, shocking both the crowd and her mother. Jia Xin wanted to leave immediately, but Shi Yi stopped her. He explained that rumors were spreading about her and that running away would only make things worse. He encouraged her to stand up for herself and clear her name instead of hiding from the accusations. Shi Yi reminded Jia Xin that he trusted her innocence and questioned why she didn't have the same faith in herself. He pointed out that her silence could affect not only her reputation, but also many people around her. As Jia Xin struggled to respond, Shi Yi firmly reminded her of one important fact. He was not only the general manager of Chengzhai but also her husband. If people attacked her reputation, they were attacking his as well. His words left Jia Xin deeply moved as she began to realize that he was finally standing by her side. Encouraged by Shi Yi's support, Jia Xin agreed to be strong and stepped onto the stage with him. As rumors continued to spread among the crowd, Shi Yi reassured her that she could handle the situation. Gathering her courage, Jia Xin publicly declared that she loved Grandma deeply and would never do anything to hurt her. She firmly denied all the accusations, insisting that the rumors were completely false. While the crowd reacted to her words, Shi Yi reminded everyone that he had always worked to protect their jobs and the company's future. At that moment, Zhang Ren and Haifei manager Mr. Zhou arrived. Mr. Zhou pressured Shi Yi to sign over the factory, but before anything could happen, Jia Xin suddenly felt sick. Instead of showing concern, Zhou rudely told her to move aside and focused on the ribbon-cutting ceremony. As he tried to push past her, Jia Xin accidentally knocked off his wig, shocking everyone. Though she immediately apologized, Mr. Zhou angrily humiliated her in front of the crowd. Shi Yi quickly stepped in, shielding Jia Xin and demanding that Mr. Zhou treat her with respect. He made it clear that insulting her was unacceptable and that an apology was owed. The confrontation escalated, and Mr. Zhou threatened to cancel their business deal. However, Shi Yi remained calm and refused to compromise his principles. He openly criticized Haifei's products and announced that all production at the island factory would be suspended. Holding Jia Xin's hand, he walked away from the event, choosing dignity over profit. Deeply touched by his actions, Jia Xin happily followed. After returning to Shanghai, Jia Xin went for another hospital checkup. There, she received a surprising call from Yu Xin, who revealed that she had left home and moved to Shanghai. Later, Shi Yi unexpectedly showed up after leaving an important meeting just to check on Jia Xin. Before they could talk much, Yu Xin arrived and invited them to go shopping together. While Yu Xin wandered into a store, Shi Yi and Jia Xin were left alone. Jia Xin worried that she was taking up too much of his time, but Shi Yi took the opportunity to apologize. He admitted that he had used both her and the pregnancy class to get closer to Dr. Hao, and acknowledged that his actions had been unfair. Jia Xin gently dismissed his guilt, reminding him that he had always helped and protected her, especially when she needed him most. Their conversation brought them a little closer, strengthening the bond that had slowly begun to grow between them. Shi Yi apologized for overreacting about Dr. Hao and admitted that worries about the future had clouded his judgment. Jia Xin then asked if he had skipped her hospital checkup to gain Dr. Hao's favor. Shi Yi explained that Dr. Hao was the only person who could help them with the inheritance issue. Before they could continue, Yu Xin arrived and asked for their help. After shopping together, the three entered an elevator, but it suddenly stopped working. While Shi Yi contacted security, Yu Xin began suffering severe pain. Realizing she was having contractions, Shi Yi quickly took charge. He made her comfortable, asked Jia Xin to check her condition, and informed security that a pregnant woman needed urgent assistance. When security connected them to Dr. Hao, Shi Yi put aside their differences and explained the situation. Following the doctor's instructions, they prepared emergency supplies and helped Yu Xin control her breathing while waiting for rescue. Shi Yi calmly encouraged her through every contraction, earning Dr. Hao's silent admiration. Soon the elevator shook and finally opened. Medical staff rushed Yu Xin away for treatment. Relieved, Jia Xin thanked Shi Yi for staying calm during the crisis. Shi Yi replied that Dr. Hao deserved the credit, then sincerely thanked Jia Xin as well. Witnessing Yu Xin's pain made him realize how difficult pregnancy and childbirth truly were, and he promised that when her time came, he would stay by her side. Moments later, they heard the newborn baby's cries. Filled with joy, Jia Xin handed the baby to Shi Yi. Holding the child, he quietly imagined what his own future baby might look like and hoped the child would inherit only the best qualities from both parents. In the next scene, Jung-ren met with worried clients as the stock market continued to fall. With Shi-yi canceling the deal with the Haifei Group, confidence in the company was weakening. One client openly questioned her leadership, and Jung-ren admitted that their concerns were understandable. During the meeting, some clients suggested that Shi-yi should apologize to Joe and sign the contract to save the company. However, Shi-yi firmly refused and revealed an important authorization report from the French government. He explained that the approval for the Heritage series had taken 3 years to obtain and was a major achievement. Despite this, Jung-ren pointed out that the Haifei Group deal had fallen through, the stock price was dropping, and the market remained unstable. Several clients questioned Shi-yi's leadership and even suggested replacing him as general manager. They argued that the company's reputation and profits were suffering because of his decisions. Just as the criticism grew stronger, Dr. Hao unexpectedly arrived. He announced that, as an advisor to the World Health Organization, he had agreed to represent the Heritage series at Shi-yi's invitation. Dr. Hao openly praised Shi-yi's intelligence and said he trusted both him and the product. His endorsement immediately changed the atmosphere, and the clients decided to give Shi-yi another chance. Even Jung-ren had no choice but to accept their decision. After the meeting, Dr. Hao met Jia Xin and revealed that he had only agreed to help because she had personally convinced him. When Shi-yi asked why he suddenly supported Heritage, Dr. Hao simply told him to ask Jia Xin before walking away. Later, Jia Xin attended a parenting class and was surprised to find Shi-yi already waiting for her. He handed her a textbook and promised that from now on, he would attend every class and medical checkup with her. When she asked why, Shi-yi admitted that since she had helped save Heritage by persuading Dr. Hao, he wanted to support her in return. Back at home, Shi-yi happily shared the news with Grandma that Heritage had become a success and gained even more recognition thanks to Dr. Hao's support. Overjoyed, Jia Xin immediately hugged him. When Shi-yi looked confused, she explained that her mother always said people should hug during moments of great happiness or sadness. Smiling, Shi-yi hugged her back while Grandma watched warmly. It was then revealed that Grandma's condition was much better, making the happy moment even more special. It was soon revealed that Grandma had only been pretending to be in a coma. Later, Joe confronted Shi-yi and claimed that he must have ignored the contract details. Shi-yi confidently replied that he remembered every clause. Joe then reminded him that anyone who canceled the deal would have to pay double compensation and showed a video proving that Shi-yi had canceled the agreement. Just then, Grandma arrived, surprising Shi-yi. Joe tried to use the evidence against him, but Grandma called in Mr. Zhang, the Chengji Group's lawyer. He revealed that a special clause had been added to the contract, giving Chengji Group the right to cancel the agreement without paying any penalty if Haifei Group's actions harmed the partnership. Since both companies had officially approved the contract, the clause was legally valid. Joe was furious after learning this, while Jung-ren felt embarrassed. Grandma then scolded Joe, pointing out that although Shi-yi often acted too quickly, Joe had no excuse for missing such an important clause. Defeated, Joe left the meeting in frustration. Shi-yi then admitted his mistake as general manager and accepted responsibility. Grandma said she had considered punishing him or even removing him from his position, but instead decided to keep a closer watch on him. She announced that a special assistant would monitor his work and is involved in company affairs. To everyone's surprise, Grandma chose Jia Xin for the role. She explained that Jia Xin's reaction to the product's smell had given her the idea of testing products from a customer's perspective. Although the family was shocked, Grandma believed Jia Xin deserved a chance. When she asked Shi-yi for his opinion, he could only agree, still stunned by the unexpected decision. Later, Grandma pulled Shi-yi aside and warned him that she knew everything about his relationship with Jia Xin. She revealed that she had already instructed lawyer Xin to revise her will. If Shi-yi ever betrayed Jia Xin, all of her inheritance would go directly to Jia Xin after her death. The warning left Shi-yi completely stunned, and he could only nod in agreement. That night, Jia Xin had fallen asleep on the sofa when Grandma suddenly knocked on the door. Panicking, Shi-yi quickly carried Jia Xin to the bed. When she woke up in confusion, he explained that Grandma was coming in. Grandma then quietly reminded Shi-yi that since Jia Xin would start working at the company the next day, he should take good care of her and make sure she ate healthy meals. After Grandma left, Shi insisted that Jiaxin sleep comfortably on the bed because of her pregnancy, while he chose to sleep on the sofa himself. Jiaxin couldn't help smiling at his thoughtfulness. The next morning, Shi Yi and Jiaxin headed to the company together. During the drive, Assistant Anson noticed that Jiaxin looked different without her glasses. Shi immediately told him to focus on driving, but he secretly kept glancing at Jiaxin, making her feel confused. Later, Shi Yi teased her by saying they were going to a law firm to complete her employment transfer. Jiaxin quickly became nervous and started fixing her appearance, only for Shi Yi to laugh and admit that he was joking and simply needed some documents from lawyer Shin. When they arrived at the law firm, the staff naturally treated Jiaxin like an ordinary visitor. However, Shi Yi stopped them and reminded everyone that Jiaxin was now the chairwoman's special assistant. Realizing her new status, the employees immediately showed her more respect. Although Jiaxin felt uncomfortable with the attention, Shi Yi encouraged her to be confident. He reminded her that she represented Grandma and needed to trust herself before expecting others to trust her. When Jiaxin still looked uncertain, Shi Yi reassured her with a smile, saying that he would always support her. His words boosted her confidence, and the two shared a warm moment together. Afterward, Shi Yi brought Jiaxin to the company and officially introduced her to all the department managers. He even jokingly introduced Assistant Anson, making the atmosphere much more relaxed as Jiaxin began her first day in her new role.